Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about a release from Miniart. It's a 135 scale kit and it's so-called big set from them, so you will get exactly what you see here on the box art. And this is quite an interesting package because we get the Panzerkampfwagen 4, we also get the KFC 70, and we get the figurines, and we get the stand from what I see here. So it's really cool to have everything at once. It means that basically you get a diorama project in a box. And of course we have a commercial sample here, so this set number 36066 is exactly the same stuff as what you'll get in some good model shops, for example in Madelimex. And you can notice that the box size is somewhat typical for Miniart, so here is comparison with my hand, and I wonder how all of this stuff actually fit inside, and it's quite heavy. Here on the side you can see also some information about the brand and also some safety advices, while on the opposite side we can see, let's say, the small parts map for all the components included. So KFC 70, Panzerkampfwagen 4, also the figurines for both vehicles, and this stand for, again, both vehicles and figurines. This is a top opening box, so just give me a second, I will try to open it quickly. And here's what we have inside. So you can notice that the packaging is rather tight, and if you would like to have everything shaped in a right, let's say, way, ask your seller to pack it carefully, because otherwise you might end up with some issues. But from other side, my parcel was shipped with help of our post, and as you can see, everything arrived intact. And as usual, everything is sealed, so I'm going to tear through this plastic bag. I think we won't be cutting it through because here it's quite easy to go through the seal. And okay, so first of all, I suggest we start with the gray plastic sprues because they're on the top. I just need to take them out, so I'm sorry for the sound. And the kits on themselves, I would say they're not exactly new or something unusual. We reviewed the solo releases, if we can say it this way, and now we have a chance to review something what is combined together. So first of all, we have this nice diorama base, and as you can see, it's not that huge. Here is comparison with my hand. Again, we can zoom in a bit and also open the lenses so that you can see. So we have the surface details here. They look quite nice. Of course, they will benefit from some washings done, because otherwise you might end up with really blank features. So definitely try to experiment with some dirt, dust, and other things. Maybe some vegetation will be also a good idea to add. And of course, you can also add some building here beside, even though it's not in the package. Okay, so that was the stand, and by the way, it's three-dimensional. As you can see, we have the special supporting frame. Maybe it's also a good idea to reinforce it with the X-shape bars inside, but it's already, again, your decision whether you would like to go that far. Next, we continue with the separate plastic bag for the clear sprue. So here we have the clear parts. As far as you can see, they should be used for the tank. And overall molding quality looks fine. Do not forget that Miniart does not include any masks whatsoever. There are no masking templates, no any other stuff which will help you in this area. So in case you would like to get a nice paint finish, either check the aftermarket manufacturers or maybe try to cut it yourself with your own hands, but it will take some time for sure. Next, I'm opening one more plastic bag. We have another set of clear sprues there, and I think they are for KFC 70, so I will show it in a second. First of all, we have this interesting clear parts. I'm not sure where they will be used, but they look like headlamps, so we will see it in the assembly manual. Next, we continue with the decal sheet. So here it is, and as you can see, we have all necessary symbols. We even have some signs here, and they are coming from Decograph. So now everything is printed in cartograph, as you remember. So this one is from those times when the decals were printed in Decograph. And next we continue with the pair of the sprues. It's a sprue DA. So here we get the clear parts for the car vehicle. As you can see, they look also nice. These headlamp lenses look great in my opinion, especially for this scale. So it's just a matter of masking them again, because again we do not have anything of this let's say sense included into the kit. Next we also have the PE thread, and it comes in a large envelope, and I'm going to open it right now because it's interesting to see what is included here. So we have actually 2 unpainted PE threads, actually 4. Okay, that's even more interesting, so just give me a moment. First of all, we have this one for the tank parts. Next, another small one for the car. As you can see, even the radiator grille will be replicated with help of it. And one more for the various equipment from what I can see here. But that's not all, because as I said, there are 4 of them, so we have another one for the Schurzen, which is installed outside the tank. As you can see, it's quite thin, and this will be a quite important feature because it will give you a bit more up to scale appearance on your model. And even though it might look tricky, still it's a very valuable feature on a 135 scale tank. Next, we continue or start with the tank parts, the plastic ones. So here I will have to zoom out a bit. Maybe let's open the lenses a bit. So here you can see the turret parts. As you can notice, all of the hatches are molded separately. So this is really great for some diorama ideas. And let's not forget that here we have the figurines included. So you will have a chance to place somebody inside the turret, I guess. And from what I can see here, there should not be the interior included, but we will see it further in the video review, because now we move on to the next plastic sprue, and here we have the hull parts for the tank, also this lower plate for the turret. We have the main gun here, and I'm seeing here the muzzle brake, which is molded as a single piece part, which is also quite great. I can zoom in for you so that you can see what I'm talking about. Of course, you can also replace it with some metal barrel from aftermarket brands, but it will cost you extra money. So in my opinion, this is quite a viable solution for out-of-the-box build, of course. Next, we continue with the gray plastic sprue, which is dedicated to figurine parts. So I'm not sure where those guys will go. I think those are actually for the car vehicle. So here you can see that we have the typical 135 scale design, I would say. So it's a one-piece torso, separate legs, separate hands, and of course the poses of those guys are predefined. I don't see any alternative assembly options, so you're pretty much limited with what you saw on the box art. But in my opinion, this is still fine, because these external sculpting features, they look really good, and they will definitely benefit from some professional painting skills, or maybe at least careful copying of the German uniform, because those guys will be visible on the finished vehicles as well. Next, we continue with the parts for the truck. So I guess all of the sprues are actually kind of mixed here. So here you can see the truck or car parts. For example, here you can see the front grille. So you have 2 options, whether you would like to have the P radiator mesh grille, or you would like to have the pre-molded one with the Mercedes sign. So it's your decision here. We also get the engine included, the separate bonnet panels, some suspension parts. So everything looks really cool, and of course in 135 scale it will definitely come handy. Next, we continue with one more plastic sprue. So here we get the, just give me a second. So we get here more parts for the car model, and as you can see, a lot of also surface details. So for example, for the seat parts, and also the dashboard looks good. We have the steering wheel here. As you remember, there are also some PE parts will be added to it. You can see also some roof parts. So it's definitely a fine features for this vehicle, and of course it will take some time to work, for example, with this thin frames for the windscreen. So definitely take your time and do not hurry with such stuff, because it's really easy to break those parts, and then it's a bit difficult to fix it as well. Next, we continue with 2 plastic sprues which are dedicated to the same set of parts. Here we have the plastic wheels, and this is definitely a big advantage for this kit, because plastic wheels are better than the vinyl alternative we see in some other manufacturers. And also we can see here the headlamp, the leaf springs, and also some minor elements which will be installed here and there. Okay, and by the way, the tires here, these plastic wheels, as you can see, we have the surface details on the tires, which is also cool. In this scale, I think it will be useful in case you have some ideas for weathering. Next, we continue with another sprue which is dedicated to various signs. So here we have quite a simple design, and you saw already the decals which will be applied on those signs. Next we continue with thin plastic sprue for the telegraph pole. So here you can see that these are quite large parts, and they might look familiar to you because they were also available as a separate kit. Now we get it as a part of this combo set, so definitely a useful thing to place on the diorama base. Next we have the doors and also side panels for the car. So the separate doors mean that you can open them obviously, and you can use it for your own benefit because we have the figurines after all. And next, so here we have some parts for the main gun of the Panzer IV, and I'm not sure if they will be actually visible. Maybe if you open the hatches, then it will be visible, so it's definitely something what might come handy in for some diorama builds. Next we continue with more parts for the turret. So here, as far as you can see, we have the external armor. We also have some panels for the external hull features, and also we have some Pioneer tools. But I guess more Pioneer tools will be coming on the next sprues. By the way, as for the track parts, here we have the whole set of the track pins. So this will have to be used with the separate track links. And of course, it will be quite a fun work to do, so be ready for that. Next we have, as I said, the separate sprue for the Pioneer tools. So here they are. And I'm quite glad that Miniart does not skip on this feature, so we have a really nicely detailed Pioneer tools, and as far as I remember you can even place them with help of PE clamps, so it's even more fine detailed result. Next we continue here with the small parts for the car model. Nothing special, but they will be also useful for your build. Next, two figurines which are molded on the separate sprues. So again, predefined poses and pretty much the same parts division as you saw on the previous guys. Next we have the track parts. So these are exactly the track links I was talking about, and as you can see there are a lot of them, so they are packed into a separate plastic bag. These track links are quite nice. For a 135 scale, I think we have a lot of features pre-molded, and the only thing is that there is no assembly jig in this kit, so be ready to do it with your own hands and tools. Next, we continue with the hull panels for the tank. So this is the first sprue, and here is the second one. So as you can see, there are also some versions of the same part, so be sure to use the right one, because otherwise you might end up with the wrong build of your model, so that's something to remember. Next, more Pioneer tools. So here they are. These ones are molded together with the clamps. So some others would prefer this version, so it might be a possible version. Next, we continue with the 4 identical plastic sprues. So here I will need time to pick them up, because those sprues are dedicated to the Panzer IV drivetrain. So here you can see that there are 4 sprues, and if I place them like that, here we have the road wheels. So these road wheels on the rubber tires, they have the pre-molded features. It's written Continental because these rubber parts were made by this company, and we also have some the suspension parts. So just to show you the surface details I was talking about, maybe I'll try to bring it closer like that, and I hope you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, next we continue with the 2 sprues for the drive sprockets. So each of the drive sprockets should be assembled out of 2 parts, and just give me a moment. I will try to show you closer, because here we have the placement points right on the teeth, so be careful while separating these elements, because it might be easy to break them and then you will end up with the ugly result. By the way, more of the Panzer IV panels. So this is the glacis plate, this is the rear plate, and again the same point, that be sure to use the right part and keep track of the assembly manual. Next we continue with the road wheels for the car. So again, if I bring it closer here, you can see that we have really good external features, and if I flip it over here, we have the separate tire sections which are molded like that. Next we have the parts for the tank gain. So they are supplied on 2 plastic sprues. Here you can see them. And I will leave you only 1 sprue so that you can take a closer look. So here we have the exhaust. We also have the spare tracks and also some parts for the lower hull section. Everything looks good. So it's just a matter of careful installation on your tank. Next, we have 2 big sprues. These ones are also carrying the mix of parts. So if we leave it like this, here you'll find also some spare road wheels. We also have some covers for the outer hatches, and I can see some handles, some minor hooks, and some features are really tiny. So here you can see comparison with my hand. So keep it in mind, in some cases you'll have to use the tweezers, otherwise it will be nearly impossible to get those parts into the right spot. Next we have quite surprising thing. I was not expecting it, at least. So we have the 4 plastic sprues which are dedicated to these rifles, which were usually placed inside the vehicle, so that's why they will come handy. And of course you don't have to use all of them. Maybe you would spare some for your future builds, who knows. Next we continue with the drivetrain parts and seats for the car, and again, really nice features. But as you can notice, there are a lot of small sprues, so be sure not to lose any of those, because otherwise it will be really tricky to replicate something what is molded on the small frames. So the wheel fenders, as you can see, they are molded as a single piece part, and also here we have more of the seat parts, various handles. And I wonder why here the handles are replicated like that, because usually they were copying it just with the help of PE parts. Next we have the machine gun, again for this car. It looks nice and it might be familiar to you because of some previous releases from Miniart. Next we have the, by the way, I think it's broken down or away, but as you can see, it's a folded roof which will be placed on the vehicle. So it just broke from the connections, but it looks good. And by the way, I was wrong about the tire assembly jig. As you can see, actually track assembly jig, but it is included here. It is a one-piece part, and it's definitely a useful thing, because otherwise it will be a tedious procedure. Well, it will take some time even in this form, but still it's a bit faster thing to do. Next we continue with the larger plastic sprue. So we zoom in out, we have here the roof and also floor panel for the vehicle, side panels here, the wheel fenders here, the separate doors there, and again everything looks nice. This is the main chassis, which is molded as a single piece part, which is also great because you won't have to align the separate bars together, and this actually gives you the right fitment out of the box. Next, a lot of thin sprues from the tank, and here we have the road wheels, the side shelf, and also the idlers for the Panzer IV. Next, I just need to place it somehow somewhere, but here we continue with another side skirt, and also we have these special holders for the Schürzen. So everything looks great, and as far as I remember, you can replicate the Schürzen with the plastic or PE parts, so it will be your decision. And another plastic sprue. Here we have the hull parts for the tank. Again, a lot of hatches are molded separately, so use it to your own benefit, because it's definitely something what is handy in diorama ideas. And if I flip it over here, you'll find some interior features, but again, I remind you that we are dealing here with a non-interior kit. Next, the final plastic sprue. So this one is dedicated to the lower panel of the tank. We also have the top panel of the turret. Here we have also the side armor panels. This is the rear one. Also we have the special holder brackets for the Schürzen, again, a lot of them, so be careful with their installation. It will require some alignment, but I think the final result should be worth it because it looks quite impressive. And last but not the least is the assembly manual. So it's a quite thick brochure, by the way. I think it's the thickest I've seen in Miniart kits. But here we have the assembly instructions for all of the kits. So if I open it like that, here we have first 2 marking options for the tank and the vehicle. Then we continue with the parts map. Note that the parts map does not show which parts stay unused, so pay attention because usually Miniart supplies a lot of extra parts, and as I said before, it will be important to use the right version here. Next, we start assembly with the tank, and then here, by the way, you can see the track assembly, so you use these track pins inserting into the track links which are on the jig, so it looks straightforward, but it will take some time, as I said before. And also here we continue with the side skirts. We start working on the turret parts from what I can see. Actually, this should be the hull panel. Yeah, here you can see that we use the only one version of the glacis plate. Then we continue with adding more features on the lower hull section, and then we start joining all of these subsections together. Note that here, for example, the exhaust is fixed in place with help of the P straps, and also for the towing cables you will have to use your own metal wire. Next, we continue with some Pioneer tools. Here we install the mud guards, and I can see that mud guards can be also installed in the flipped position, which is also quite handy. By the way, here you can see the choice between which clamps you will be using for your axe and some other Pioneer tools. Next, we continue with the suspension. So again, it might be worth thinking how you will paint all of this stuff, because suspension, even on Panzer IV, it's quite complex, just like on any other German tank. Here we continue with the Schürzen being installed, PE parts again, I remind you, and then we start working on the turret. So actually, yes, we will be assembling the internal part of the main gun here. Next, we continue with the machine gun. Actually, it was designed also for the tank, so I did not expect it. And here we can see the main gun assembly. So the stowage boxes are also in place. We also install the external armor, and then the last step is installation of the turret onto the tank. So next we start working on the KFC 70, so it's a main chassis, suspension, drivetrain and engine. Next we start working on the car body. And here you can see also some of the inner or interior structures being assembled. By the way, here you can see the rifles being placed. And then we have the wheel fenders, or the dashboard. Also, we have the assembly option for the side windows, by the way, so it's also quite cool. And then we get everything together, so quite a lot of things to do at once. Pay attention to this step. And then here we add some fine features out of PE parts. And the next you can see the road signs and telegraph pole assembly, and also the marking guide for the figurines, colors chart, the final result, how you can place all of these vehicles together, and here are more photos of the finished kit. So, whole kit looks like a really great combo in 1/35 scale. That's something I would recommend rather to experienced modelers. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion. Would you do such build with this, I would say, amount of the things inside the box? So write it here in the comment section below. And of course, if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.